room and maybe share our thoughts
Yeah.
on it. So we're not
That's a
talking.
good
So let
idea.
me,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do. We're live now, I believe. Actually, we are live.
Are we live? Oh,
Yeah.
hey
Hey
guys.
guys, welcome to the show. So Jayse was just with us, and his
No,
internet
he is not.
literally dropped out, and his internet died, and he's hoping it comes back on. But he was here in the meeting, and at 6 o'clock, it just went away. It was kind of wild. So if he pops back in, we'll let him in, and hopefully he can join us. So welcome to the show. Just a few things before we get started. Well, I guess that doesn't, it's irrelevant now. I'm leaving tomorrow morning for the Star Knowledge Conference. I'm really excited about that, but I doubt anybody's going to make it out that last minute. But that is in South Dakota, and there are tickets still available if anyone's in the area and wants to come out. And our tickets are available for our conference in May 12th through the 15th in Grafton, Illinois. And Lily and Arcturus Ra are both going to be presenting there. We're super excited about that. It's going to be an amazing time. And you can take advantage of the early bird special, which ends on Black Friday. And you can save a considerable amount of money on your ticket. And it comes with a live stream pass and a t-shirt. So make sure you take advantage of the early bird. That link is below. There are early bird specials for the live stream pass separately as well. And what else? I think that's it. So obviously, there is a lot happening right now. I mean, the entire election was wild. It was intense. The entire world was on the edge of their seats. And it seems like some very, very positive things are happening now. And we're all going to just take turns, sharing our thoughts and opinions on what actually took place. And I really wish Jayse was here because he's been on top of this. And I always call him the timeline shift guy. Every time something's happening, that when the timeline's shifting, Jayse is all over it. And I really hope he can pop back on because he can really articulate what's going on. So, but I know we all can too. And just welcome, guys. We're happy to have you here. And I guess I don't know how you want to kick this off with the conversation we were just having before we got on camera. We might as well just start there. So, a lot of the comments lately, everyone's very confused about the Bashar predictions about the election. And we've addressed this on a number of shows, but it keeps coming up. People keep asking us questions. And Lily, I know you've been getting some information on this. Arcturus, you have your opinion. So maybe Arcturus, if you would like to start with what you think is actually happening with Bashar and why there's such a confusion surrounding that.
So here's my thing is first of all, I love and respect channeling. I get from my counsel that alter terrestrial intelligence and galactic federations they never ever go into politics. That's an earth matter. Never ever ever. So I've seen several channels making one mistake. One I won't name. She said basically 2012. I just have to give you examples. 2012, the Earth is going to go in Bardo. We're all going to burn. She has the key to the stargates. She'll be leaving with a chosen few. We're all going to basically burn. And she's the older sister of Jesus. Okay, you're already in the box for me.
Yeah.
She lost her congregation. That didn't happen. She had a lot of scientific teachings and stuff. Disappeared offline. Probably you know who that is. Very respectful, and then they fall. Um, then we had Esther Hicks sitting at a table saying that a Kool-Aid jab is a brilliant invention for mankind. I'm going, okay, I'm seeing a red flag. My psyche is going, red flag. I'm not a commercial esoteric person. I'm going nuts and bolts, nitty gritty. Also, later on, I want to know what Lily's remote view take on this is what she's seen. So then we hear that Bashar says it's for everybody to get the Kool-Aid jab. I won't know. I don't want Kool-Aid in my blood because that corrupts what I am bringing in. I don't want no external stuff. We're being bombarded with stuff as it is. So that put an orange flag over the Bashar channeling situation. Then, and this is just my opinion, feel free, I don't mean to this, it's just my observation. If you as a channel sell the open contact agenda, which the way it's being sold, and I've been to many of those events, it's not happening. We are in contact. We're all in contact. We're in full-blown contact. It's not as you imagine it. It's hyperdimensional. We are downloading us making the changes here. But if you leave a statement And out of all places in Sedona, which is my place, this is the holy place. And you say, if the female, I'm just quoting, if the female wins open contact, if the male wins, the end of the US and World
World War
War
Three.
III, if I got that correct.
Yep.
That's what he
One can
said.
say, okay, let's speculate maybe the end of the USA Corporation. Who knows? But there's no speculation. Knowingly, see, I always wanted to be a detective and I'm looking at evidence. If I want to sell the open contact agenda, knowingly that the female will not win, then I will suggest that to keep you with a dangling carrot and leading you on. And that makes a prediction. And also, don't ever predict, because if you're wrong, who's going to follow you in the end? So I think that this Bashar thing was kind of a way of you shooting yourself in the foot if you bring that in. And if that's Bashar, that's questionable. And another source revealed, and online it's going crazy, besides the election, saying is, since Bashar recommended the Kool-Aid jab, they believe the channel is compromised, and that is no longer Bashar that you're hearing. It's very good at mimicking. It could be AI, and it can lead you on, but it will lead you into a void. And all I'm saying is, for all channelings and stuff that's coming out, you will know who's who by the fruits of their labor. That sounds harsh right now, but if somebody promises you strawberries for the last 30 years and there are no strawberries, let alone seeds in your garden, you have nothing. So be very careful what profit or profiteering or predictions are coming out and they're not coming into fruition and nothing happens. You should question that. Trust in source and trust in your higher self, not an external whatever that comes with spectacles and impressive news, and you have nothing but a narrative in your hand. That's my opinion.
Right. And I think it's important to understand that, you know, even higher dimensional beings can have an agenda as well, because all of these ET groups have been here for ages, and they all have they all think they know how things should be going down on this planet, so they can feed information that serves their agenda, right? They all have their
Mhm.
hand in the game, so we have to remember, like, these agendas don't stop here in the third dimension. And it's also, one of the things that I've learned in 5 years, over 5 years of doing this, is we've interviewed a lot of channels. And one of the biggest things I've seen is that they can become compromised, because uh, this is a spiritual war. So you have to imagine that even the channels they're gonna use the channels to relay messages to humanity on their behalf to serve their agendas. So we have to really, really be careful right now, especially, in moving forward whenever there is this timeline war. But I think we've kind of solidified a victory timeline, I guess you could say, and it really feels that way. And I guess, Lily, we'll move on to you. I know you were tapping into some stuff about Bashar, so
Yeah, so whenever I saw that, his prediction, immediately that was like pretty shocking to me. I don't really watch any of his content. From a few of the things I've seen here and there over the years, uh, some of the stuff I did like, personal development type stuff, but I never really like watched him too much. So, and I saw that, I immediately thought, this could be truthful, but in a way, like it's almost like symbolism. Like the woman wins and it leads to open contact, but you have to question open contact with what? And then with what type of beings? And then if the male wins, the end of the United States in World War III. So the end of, like Arcturus Ra said, the corporation, the deep state, and then the spiritual war that is already playing out. So I think it depends. It can kind of depend on how you interpret it. But whenever I tuned in, just the other day, I was immediately getting that it was a contract, a soul contract for people to learn discernment, that Bashar had set up, or that had been set up through him, is what I was immediately getting. But I didn't look too much into it further. But I'd like to also add, like with the jab and everything, you have to, especially whenever you're channeling, or even if you have getting any sort of messages, you really have to be mindful about keeping your energy clear and continuously saying that you do not consent to beings of a lower energies or beings of a lower frequency to sway you. Like a lot of these parasites, these the nanotech, all of these things, implants, negative implants that can control your thoughts. So I'm very diligent about continuously keeping my energy clear, and maybe some people get kind of like sloppy with it. And I think it's a spiritual war right now, so we need to stay on top of it. So that's kind of what I got.
Right. And I see the comment here, which is I was gonna mention this. Bashar is supporting the hybrid agenda of the Greys being us humans in the future. And he presents that a lot and as if it's like one of the only options, and which is also a red flag to me.
Yeah.
Um, because that is another timeline, right? And so I don't know. It's just use discernment. Like a lot of the information he has said and delivered over the years, like I've listened to, and some of it I remember sharing the old videos. It was beautiful information
Yeah.
and very just enlightening. But I kind of checked out whenever I heard that he promoted the jab, and I was just like, okay, like I've seen so many channelers go down and be compromised, and you can just feel the energy shift. And I was like, okay, it's time to check out. But that's whenever you just take what resonates and leave the rest. And Aaron, what are your thoughts on that?
Well said. Everyone totally agree with everything that's been said so far. Yeah. I found Bashar pretty early on in my awakening. He was one of the first channelers I remember finding, along with Abraham Hicks, along with Barbara Marciniak. And like you said, most of what he says is great. Like 95%, I would say, of everything I've ever heard him say or come through him has been very spot on and very, very well spoken. Just like he, even like really makes a crucial point, like beautifully, he says it beautifully in a way that like really elaborates on the truth of whatever that thing is, like even the concept of time, or like how manifestation actually works, or like the fact that we're already in spirit now, dreaming that we're not, like none of us are actually, like we've never left spirit. Like that whole thing is so spot on, which I included in my book. That being said, there is like when that few years ago when he promoted the jab, or he basically endorsed it and told everyone that you should get it. That was the first red flag I saw, where I'm like, uh-oh, either he's been compromised, or maybe the whole time like you said, he was either intentionally, knowingly, or unknowingly manipulated into being this asset for the cabal or the dark to manipulate people. Either one is very possible. But I was like, well, still everything else I've heard him say is spot on. So I still kind of loosely followed him still after that.
Right.
I'm like, maybe I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt there. Like, who knows why he did that, or maybe something was off in that part of the channeling, or that, whatever. But then I heard him say that, what you guys just said, where he said,
The female
he made a
wings,
prediction of the election of what would happen if one candidate got in, what would happen if the other, which Arcturus, I love that you said, like, as soon as a candidate gets specifically political and like makes predictions on it, like that is what they claim is coming. That's a huge red flag.
Yeah.
Especially when it's the exact opposite of what I know for a fact is the actual truth. I was like, okay, clearly he's been compromised. Clearly there's either he's been compromised, or the whole time he was, and he's not really channeling something good, or is he even channeling,
Right.
But yeah, like you said, he even says he's channeling himself from the future as this Essassani ET race, like a gray like race, essentially, that is basically, he's it does line up with the agendas like that
Right.
they're pushing. Everything that, now that I'm like in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, you're right, that does line up. And now he's saying these things. So Yeah, I mean, lesson in discernment, Lily, like
Yeah.
you said, like everything like this is just like a huge lesson in discernment to not give your power away to a channeler or any person that you used to like or that you still do even, just because they say something. Always, 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 always take everything. Don't ever throw out the baby with the bathwater where like now, oh, everything he said now is a lie, because that's not true either.
I'd like
Um,
to add something real quick.
yeah,
I would also be mindful about messages that invoke fear. I think that's a huge red flag.
yeah,
You know, like kind of
Right.
doomsday messages.
Right.
That's just my opinion, though.
no,
Well,
couldn't agree more.
yeah.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
So let's talk about, okay, so Trump just won the election, and it was a landslide, which is, I don't want to go like super political with this, but I want to, what this means, what he stands for, and how this is, a lot of people think it's the positive timeline, and we've talked about this for many episodes, many years about, this lower timeline collapsing. And I like to liken the story with Daryl James, who a lot of people know. He it's a whole long story, but he was told from being in the Navy about these timelines, right? And whenever he was having a conversation with his friend who was also in the Navy, um, they were talking about the election fraud, and he was like, "You don't know what that means." He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "If they lose the election, their timeline collapses." And they're like, at all costs they have to preserve that timeline. That's why they're overtly cheating. And so that's literally what happened. They knew if Trump gets in, because Trump isn't one of them, right? They knew
Mhm.
if he gets in, then the negative timeline collapses. And I truly believe that's just what happened. And there's a lot of people who say like, oh, Trump is still negative and there's still a negative agenda behind it, but not everything that happens is bad. And if you constantly think that everything, that they're all powerful and there's nothing we can do, then you're absolutely empowering that. You're empowering them to be all powerful, right? So,
Falling through the trap. That's exactly what they want you to think
right.
and believe,
So,
because then you're
Arcturus,
maintaining power, right?
what do you see around the corner now that, um, we already have them talking about free energy, releasing 6,000 patents, removing the fluoride from the water, make America healthy again. Like this is stuff that we wouldn't be getting this stuff under from the other
Yeah,
side. So what's
yeah,
your opinion?
yeah. I mean, my opinion is like we already knew from the winning timelines who would actually win the election. I didn't make any prediction because I don't want to be sitting there. You see the prediction that Taylor Swift made. That's totally like asked out, like totally backfired now.
Yeah.
You know what? You know which way she went. You know.
Oh,
So
yes. Along with
it,
like 99% of all celebrities. And
Right.
yeah, they're all going down. All celebrities. I mean, it's a mess. You don't even know. You think Puff the Magic Dragon is one story. There's
yeah.
thousands linked to that stuff as a
Mhm.
domino effect of what is going on right now. It's falling apart. And what I liked
Yep.
it actually also is that Leo King said it 2 years ago. He said Trump won't go away. He showed the
Mhm.
astrology. He said he's a character. He's not an
Yep.
NCP. He's an MCP. He has to play a role to make a shift, and there's a side that doesn't like that. Like in somewhat, I'm not quoting him directly, but we could see that there's something that will take place that's pretty powerful, and you can't remove that. And
Mhm.
this is deep. He was featured in a Bobby Brown video for a Ghostbuster 2 movie soundtrack, and he's in there, and they show the Trump Tower, and they show him, and he's younger, and he looks up, and Bobby Brown says, "It's time. We gotta take control. We gotta do it on our own. It's up to us." It can't get any deeper than this, as in metaphorically, and that's before the Simpsons were invented. These synchronicities, these super synchronicities go on. The more we be coming into this woke thing, go back into old movies where the stuff is already there. X-Files,
Yep.
early 90s, hybrid agenda, you
Yep.
know, the black goo, pandemics. It was all televised. It was all
Yeah.
disclosed. And the people have never seen X-Files. Go back, watch that stuff. You see the numbers in there, 1111, 111. When people go, oh man, back then when I saw this, I never knew. This is all set already. That's already kind of preordained in a way. It was still up to the collective to make a choice.
Mhm.
And I believe that politics are polished tricks, nevertheless.
Right.
It's a cheating game, and who's the best cheater wins. This time, the White Hats won by far.
Yeah.
And I believe we can also maybe expect that here's an energy that I'm getting that Mr. Trump is gonna become permanent, and that's the last of presidency you see. And the White House will, in fact, become a museum. That's in the escrow. I don't know if Lily got that. I want to know who can remote view and feel that. That he will probably change the law by extending the legislation of 4 years to 8 and then permanent. And that's it. And that's going to shift everything. It's going to go,
Mhm.
it's already beginning. It's going to go so crazy with inventions and stuff coming out. It will blow your mind. It's going to go
Yeah.
so fast with automation. I would
Yeah.
not say artificial intelligence. I would say like a computer intelligence, you know.
Right.
Right.
And he, there's an older video from a couple of years, but Trump talked about bringing back the World's Fair and having a year-long anniversary in 2025 for the country, and having people from all over the world with exactly like the World's Fairs, and introducing these new inventions and new technologies and these free energies and everything like that's incredible. That's what their World's Fair were originally trying to do, but they were actually shut down by an opposing force. 'Cause I have some books from the 1800s that talk about the World's Fairs, and they were literally trying to bring enlightenment to the planet back then, and that's why we had this reset with the World's Fairs, and they were all destroyed, and it was a very much of a
The
reset
world
when
trade. The
yeah,
world trade was destroyed. The world
right,
trade. That is what he's bringing back. And this is a power move, not to interrupt you. They making powerful moves, don't sleep. Have you not realized that they're releasing now all the Trump gold coins and gold barrels with Trump in it? Like they now they're flooding the system. They're
Yeah.
pushing the agenda. It's like now it's like you'll see some changes that will blow your mind. And one thing also that he said, he wants everybody that comes from a foreign country that is smart and it has comes from college or a university automatically gets a green card. That makes businesses, that creates economy, that accumulates people, that creates wealth. And the dude is, before he's a politician, I say he's a businessman. And he is pumping America now. Like he is pumping it. Like back to us, we'll move the military funds, bring it back to America. Like he's really making some moves where the old cabal is really
Mhm.
they're gonna have to grinch it out as they're being faded out as he's the wild card. That is needed.
right.
It's
Yeah.
needed. People need to
So
see that now.
so
Already
Lily,
the stock market is like massively pumping, and crypto is massively pumping already.
right. So,
Um,
Lily, what do you think about Trump? Sorry to interrupt you, Aaron, but I want to give
no, no, I just wanted to say that real quick.
yeah, I want to give Lily a chance. What are you tapping into? Anything about Trump being the last president? Because there's literally a book wrote in 1906 called "The Last President," which predicts the Trump presidency now. And
Mhm.
it literally talks about this president even having his own like gold coins and currency. I mean, literally in 1906, it was predicted in this book. I have it.
Yeah.
I read it,
It
and
describes
it describes
exactly Trump.
verbatim. It's
Yeah.
literally, it's eerily accurate on
Yeah.
what's happening. So, like,
Wow.
you can't tell me they don't know or they didn't know. There's not time travel involved, right?
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, time travel involved for sure. So the messages that I've been getting and what I've been seeing was that this will lead to the crumbling of the two-party system. I didn't get specifically that he's
Yep.
going to like remain in power or anything, so I'm not sure how that exactly will work, but I'd be curious to look into that. That kind of sounds like a dictatorship though. Um,
Right.
but so that sounds kind of
Yeah.
scary. But I'd like to tune into that more. But what I saw was, yeah, the crumbling of the two-party system. And then I quoted in my recent election video some of the messages that I got from the alliance, that, yeah, the two-party system would crumble, it would fall. And then another creator, Magenta Pixie, had a vision where she saw the red and blue squares, like with the voting and everything, and then it just all turned to purple, and like red and blue is purple. So it was to me that symbolized, unification, and that really resonates with me.
Right. And,
Yeah.
anything about anything else? I know you've been getting tons of information about, this positive timeline and like what's on the horizon. Would you like to share some of that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, where do you want me to start?
Uh,
Um, so it's very, yeah, I mean, there's so much. So yeah, this is the positive timeline, and like on my channel, and so many other people have been going around doing grid work and doing this massive preparation, especially for the last couple of months. I've been doing a lot of like timeline activations and all of that, saying we do not consent to any more to lies, deceit, to manipulation. And I feel that was very powerful and really helped solidify this highest timeline. What I've been getting that comes after the collapse of the two-party system, I see some people coming in with important roles. Some of my last messages, they were really kind of highlighting JD Vance as playing an important role with going after the trafficking rings. That was my first time getting messages about him, but I was seeing him a lot, going after like the royal family, the trafficking, and the whole Hillary thing, the P. Diddy thing, all of that. But they're going to the top, for the top of the food chain is what they were saying. Like, they're down here, but they're going for the top of the food chain, and bringing down the three-letter agencies. And RFK Jr. is going to play a really big role in that. Eliminating fluoride from the water. Like it's cleaning house right now. I also saw the cloning facilities being shut down, and they said they can't make any more of them. And I asked of who, and they said I saw like the crooked politicians, the celebrities, making them like a factory. They said they can't, they're taking those down. The alliance is. And let me see what else. The financial system changes coming. I saw like cryptocurrency, some of it skyrocketing. Just earlier, I got a message on the Iraqi dinar, and I asked to allude more on that, and they said you're on the right path. Somebody, Rion, actually in Sedona, just suggested that I get some dinar, because apparently that can go up, and there's going to be like basically a whole shift in the
Or-
financial system. So
or
that could be, what's
sorry,
that?
or Zim, which is the Zimbabwe, which I have some of that. It's similar to the dinar. It's one of those like
Right.
RV currencies revaluation.
RV.
They call
Yeah,
it
and I keep
RV.
seeing,
When their revaluation happens, all these currencies will be worth a ton more.
Yeah, I have the Zim
You have
note.
Zim
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and I keep seeing RV, the letters RV
Well,
over
there
the
you
last
go.
few days. So I feel that's more confirmation of that. And just last night, I woke up. Okay, interesting. On the night of the election, I started like I laid down for bed. I didn't know it was going to be called so quickly, and I was receiving visions. I was laying down for like an hour, and I saw like a horseman and a white horse. And I've been getting a lot of kind of like biblical prophecy type messages about what's happening right now, which I find interesting. And we know like the Bible, there's a lot of corruption in it, but then there's truth in it. You have to use your discernment with all of that. But I saw graves, like Trump and a bunch of gravestones, and I tuned into that more, and it was like a ceremony for all of the lost children to trafficking. So I think the trafficking thing is going to be like a really, really huge thing that's going to help bring a lot of things down. And then I woke up in the middle of the night last night, and I thought this was pretty exciting. I feel so many shifts just happening over the last couple of days. And whenever I woke up last night, I saw like the white hats, and then I saw them taking their masks off. And they said that it was safe to come forward, for more of the white hats to come forward, disclosures coming, alliances, allegiances. And they were mentioning the Maha movement being very pivotal. Rapid DNA activations and transformations. They were saying that now it's safe. It's more safe, and now it's time for more of our DNA to be activated. These superhuman abilities coming online, people bringing in all this tech, like Arcturus Ra with his cell well, or like his med bed, things like that happening. And that's kind of like a gist of it. I got a little bit more, but I don't know if you want to say anything on that. And they kept repeating the golden age, the golden age. The night of the election, the golden age. And then the next day, I'm seeing everybody typing the golden age, the golden age. Before I
Well,
even saw anybody type it, I was hearing it in my head.
That's because Trump and Elon both literally said, this welcome to the golden age or something along those lines. But they both used that term.
Oh, wow.
And
See, I didn't know that.
But it's interesting that they use that term because that term, I remember I haven't seen it in the last few years talked about as much, but before that, especially during the Q times and even before that, in like the spiritual community, it's used very often to describe the new Earth or the golden age or the age of Aquarius that we're moving into.
right,
That's a very common term that
right.
people used,
But
and
also,
now you have Trump and Elon using it. So
yeah, I mean, also something very powerful is happening what people don't understand. I'm telling you, homing will change. Like the cost of living for a house, like a millennial on average right now cannot buy $1 million house. That's
no,
just fact.
right,
So Elon Musk already creating Boxable, making affordable home living luxurious, but you can do this for $30,000. I looked
right,
at China, and people don't, if they pay attention, thousands of capsule homes are being produced that are not sold yet. So the wave hasn't happened yet where people understand, get rid of your mortgage, make your property an asset, no longer purchase, be tax exempt, completely legal, very simple system, and put a capsule home and modules and set up is quick, and you can live luxurious with swimming pool and everything at a fraction of a cost of what an average mansion would cost. So that will shift. Pluto, 19th of this month, Aquarius will be in Pluto, and that is a big kickoff for the Aquarian, really Aquarian new age, golden age power agenda moving in, as in for the last 235 years, I think. What Pluto was in Pisces, that was the age of belief. So we were duped for a very, very long time, mind you. So revolution, everything in France, the Bastille was stormed, the government was toppled, everything just changed on the planet. Well, that's what's coming now, more bloodless and more peaceful. As also, I mean, like, again, I'm neither pro or con, but Trump said he's going to remove the troops from the Ukraine and move money out of the funds out of the war machine and put it more into the system of the US to make America great. And what got my attention is that Trump started looking for the pedos.
Yep.
He was the first one to put finance into what's going on with trafficking. And then
yep,
the whole reveal, like you look at Mel Gibson, he has this company with I think called Chains, where he has ex CIA people and SWAT teams going. They have already like thousands of children that they freed. They found orphanages that would use that as a cover to make sales, going in there, buying kids, and then shutting them down. So that's happening. I've been to an event with another influencer called Kyle Cease. I don't know if you're familiar with that guy. He
yeah.
had the SWAT team people on stage and they showed with camera where they walk in, what they're clearing up. That's reality. That's not conspiracy. That's not AI. I've seen it. So there's big, big things happening, as in really Trump was the initiator to go against that. He even said something like, if he finds more corruption in the White House, he's going to shut it down until everybody is fired who is actually not clear. So there's a lot of agenda and energetically coming forward to, okay, cleaning house, get the room, start sweeping. For some,
Yep.
even start the scraping, clearing it out from justice system. And what I wanted to mention is there was a publishing company, and that shows you planetary energy, that released a book on constitutional rights, how the original law was laid by the founding fathers of the Americas. And it's published by Arcturus.
Nice.
Arcturus Publishing House. So see how deep this is, how everything is connected and moving. And that was, I think, published a couple of years ago. And I suggest everybody get that. The original law that this land is based on is constitutional. It's not maritime. And to wrap this up real quick, maritime law is pirates.
Yeah,
Is piracy, is illegalities made legal with law that is enforced by weaponry. That doesn't make it a law that is a natural law. And
right,
people have to now educate themselves what's maritime law and what is constitutional.
And,
right.
and Lily, you just got information on the maritime law, right?
Yeah, they kept saying it. They said, yeah, they said it the other night. Whenever I did my I mean, I titled it election prediction, but it was messages from the alliance. And that was one of the things they said. Yeah, they said this election and what follows will eventually bring down the red versus blue two-party system. It has already begun. Things will never be the same. And then they were saying maritime law. And I didn't know exactly what that meant. And from what I Googled, it said the body of legal rules that govern ships and shipping law of the sea. And then I was seeing that I heard they're going to find something, and I sensed like some sort of an accident or something was going to happen. And I saw like bodies and ships and shipping containers. And then they went into like the trafficking scheme. But it could have, multiple meanings with what Arcturus Ra is talking about too, like the bringing down of the exposure of that.
Right. And the trafficking is the biggest thing right now of all of it. That's the most important. And I've been getting a lot of like just information coming into my awareness about the trafficking being exposed. The reason they kept the border open was because the clients were literally the Democratic Party primarily. I'm sure there's Republicans in there too, but they're
The
primarily
deep state. Just say the deep
the
state.
deep
They're
state.
most-
The clients were in the United States, so they need, obviously they were trying to swing the election or rig the election, but also this is, they were keeping their business alive by keeping the border open. If Trump builds the border wall, it stops the human trafficking
Or makes
and
it way harder, at least.
makes it way harder. Yeah.
Way harder. Yeah.
And I find it really interesting, and I don't know if anybody else has seen this, but I've been getting Facebook ads of shipping containers for sale, like just crazy, just empty shipping containers, even evergreen. And they're selling them to like repurpose for a house. But I think that's like collectively, it's like a metaphorical for like something. We're going to be getting big news about these children that are being trafficked in shipping containers. It's not a theory. It has happened. It's been documented there in like in the 90s there or early 2000s. There was even a news report where they literally they found a container full of children. The movie Sound of Freedom depicts that. We know what happens.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of, just exposing it and bringing this forward. And what never happens, like I really wasn't paying much attention to any of the politics whenever, Biden, the puppet was walking around and a Kamala just like a placeholder or whatever.
Yeah.
I just had no interest in even putting any energy into it until right around the election time. I just kept being guided to pay attention, like a lot of us. And the night of the election, I swear, like 5 different times, even in the next morning, my whole body would get chills. Like I was feeling the excitement of the collective. Like I could feel the shift occurring. It was like full body chills to where I couldn't hardly fall asleep. And then when I woke up like super early and I was still feeling it, and I got on my phone and like saw that he won, and everyone's like victory timeline, positive timeline, golden age. And I felt it in my core. And I know a lot of people, like some people are completely like they're furious about Trump winning. Obviously, people are losing their mind. And I'm actually going to read something from our friend Steven Cephalo.
They're misinformed. They're very misinformed.
Right.
But you have to also look at the dupery. See, like again, like I'm not into politics. I'm more like a galactic heritage and getting this planet in a right path. I'm not about politics or where this goes.
It really doesn't have anything to do with politics. It's beyond
So
politics.
I was told it's a distraction with what's going on because that has to take place. We doing our job. But the dupery, I mean, last night, the night before the election, I saw popular vote for the female, I don't know, 82% and then 14% Trump. And Trump won by a landslide. How can this even be a statistic to be relevant or real? That somebody types something up and shows a screen, and then everybody believes, oh, she gets a popular vote. I think it's total BS.
It is. So that's another thing. I know this because I feel it and my body tells me. But when I see they show I was at the gym today, and they have the news on every TV, and they show like the percentages of like how much Trump won by, and they have Kamala right there next to him. I'm like, they're like, it's like I can feel it's 100% fake. They just had to make it look like, oh, she actually like almost did it. But
yeah, in the mainstream media, they were all saying, like, when it was clear like Trump was like way ahead for a while, they were still saying it's neck and neck, it's neck and neck.
Right. It's
And they were like refusing to call states until the last possible second that they just had to finally just call it. And like you could tell they were trying. They kept trying to talk about how she can pull ahead, how she still don't worry, she still has a chance. Like
well,
And
it's
and, and
trying to manipulate.
even the swing states, forget about it. I saw the end map,
Right.
and it's the Central America is red, and the outskirts, two or three or four were blue. That's it.
That's it.
right.
Yeah, it was
So
just the hardcore blue states that always, always, always are blue. And
Yeah.
then he won every single swing state this election. And he won, and even the hardcore blue state, like I'm in a hardcore blue state right now in Massachusetts, New York, California, Washington, Illinois, like the margins that it normally is, it was like half of that. It was like
Right.
way less margin even in those states.
Well, this is the first time like voting has actually mattered. Like actually, it really like
Yeah.
the people spoke, and I don't say that because I do believe that for the longest time it didn't matter. Like it was always rigged. Their puppet was in power. There, it was very much that way until Trump came in, and that's a whole story. And people don't want to believe it, but I'm sorry. Like he stood in their way, and they did everything they could to take him down. But the light wins. Bottom line.
Right. And
I
can I add
do.
something on
Yeah,
that
go
real
ahead.
quick?
Go ahead.
I'd like to say that the reality of it is we are here to infiltrate the system from the inside and bring it down. So that's exactly what's happening right now with this. And I guess that's all I have to say.
Yeah.
I thought we were getting ready to hear
Yeah.
something profound.
I was gonna go on
Well,
more, but
that's-
we have to. People need to keep that in mind with the whole political thing. Like I've never been political either, but similar, I guess, similar to some of you guys. Like I started seeing these things and started being taught about what was going on behind the scenes and how certain people were coming in to infiltrate the system and bring it down from the inside. So I
Mhm.
just want to remind.
I mean, that's Trump.
share that.
That's Trump. That's his role, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Right.
You're not
He's
putting
not
him
a
on a
savior.
pedestal because we were all
Right.
conduits of change. We are all conduits of change. but
Right.
Right. And he's
that
not a
he's playing
savior.
role.
He's not a savior. He's not, don't worship him. None of that stuff. We're all on the same value wise. We're all
Well,
the same.
what
But he's fulfilling a very, very important role within the system. Like you said, he's an infiltration within the system of the light. And that's why he's been attacked so heavily by the dark, because they think it's their system, which it has been for a long time, unfortunately. And he's the person who's not supposed to be there, according to them. And they tried everything they possibly could for the last, how long has it been now? 8 years? For the past 8 years, they tried everything they could to get him out, to demonize him, to turn everyone against him, and none of it worked. It all backfired. And in my opinion, what we just saw at the election was what would have happened 4 years ago, but they let the cheating happen on purpose. And in my opinion, that was a giant, basically, sting operation.
well,
And that, I know that's a controversial, there's people that don't agree with that, and there's people that do, but I think that was allowed to happen because we needed to experience and see the system, the true nature of the system that we're in, and the true nature of
I
what's
agree.
really going on. And enough of us woke up after that didn't need to happen again. That time was done. So now they're like, all right, now that enough people woke up, we let them, and it was like a sting operation. So they just like recorded everything, it's like a honey trap, basically. They're like, all right, we're gonna let them do whatever they want to do within,
Certain
kept,
parameters.
yeah, certain parameters. Like they're not gonna let them start World War III or nuclear war or anything, like, obviously, but they let them do other things. And then enough people woke up, the jab, the COVID, all of it. Now this is
no
what
more.
otherwise this is what would have happened then, but then not is all those people that woke up from the last 4 years wouldn't have woke up, because like I've been saying, like you can't just clean up everything in the background and then just tell everyone, oh hey, this is what we did and this is the system you were in, and like you got to experience it to some degree.
Right.
People, it has to get personal.
Nobody's gonna change. Like
Right.
life begins outside your comfort zone, and change occurs under stress. So
Right.
I mean, you have to break the comfort zone. You have to make things stressful, and it has to get real. People have to experience it, and it's just a matter of like I do believe that Biden red pilled more people than Morpheus. I mean, like I'm not
Yeah.
even kidding. And then the same with Kamala. I mean, it had to happen. And looking at what happened now, looking back, like it seems like it was all allowed. It was like the
Yeah.
light was letting this happen, because how do you expose the darkness? You let them destroy themselves. You just
You let
stay
them
out of their
expose
way.
them. You let them expose themselves and destroy themselves, right?
Right.
That's exactly what happened.
So Jace, you made it. Welcome
Jace,
to
you
the
made it
show.
back. I made it. Had
So-
some technical difficulties, but we're here.
Every time I said this earlier, every time there's a timeline change, Jace is all over it. Like he just pops up on Instagram and he's like on it, and I love it, because I feel like you have a way of just articulating what's happening and bringing the bigger picture, and also you're very much into crypto, and you have a lot of insights on the financial changes coming. So I don't know if you've been watching this whole time or whatever, but if you'd like to just share what you think is on the horizon for us, ever since we're on this entering this golden age, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I have no idea what you guys have talked about because my internet was gone, so I missed it. But yeah, crypto is kind of my big focus over the past few years. I feel like that's my mission at this point in time. At this moment is to educate people on this opportunity and help them with this wealth transfer that I think is going to be such a pivotal catalyst for the golden age that we're moving into. I think it's going to be what's going to push us into having free energy technology. I mean, you guys had Patrick Riley on, and he talked about, putting all that on the blockchain and all of that free energy technology schematics and everything. So blockchain is super tied into our future. I think it's going to be tied into elections in the very near future. One of the big cryptos that I watch called Stronghold, which is related to XRP, is talking about blockchain-based elections a lot over the past couple of weeks. So I think that this is going to be probably something that's maybe implemented before the next election, where we can have maybe a combination of physical ballots and blockchain-based voting. But obviously, Trump is very pro-crypto. He's become the crypto guy, spoke at the Bitcoin conference. And I think that we are in for a very fun ride. And I think that regardless if you're invested in crypto or not, it's going to make your life better. It's going to be something that's going to get integrated on the back end of banks and of financial services. It's going to help people who aren't able to get banks, who have low credit scores, who can't get loans, like all these issues that even Don Jr. was talking about when they launched Trump's new World Liberty Financial Service. They were talking about how their family obviously can't get access to traditional financial services because they're blacklisted from all those groups. And I know early on, like you guys had your PayPal taken away. Lots of creators have had different financial services blocked. So to have access to equal financial services for all is going to be a really big deal. And I think it is the kind of the basis of a lot of our other freedoms as well. Like freedom of speech, for instance, is very hard to enact, and the right to bear arms is very hard to enact if you don't have freedom of finances, if you can't actually pay for the arms that you want to have, or if you're like the Canadian truckers where your bank accounts get shut down when you try to go across the country to protest, like that's not good. So I think what we're seeing with Trump is going to really be a game changer. And as a crypto investor, and I know a lot of you guys are too, and a lot of the people watching, I think we have very exciting times ahead. So I'm stoked.
Right.
Me too. Yes, we do.
And I want to address also the the meltdowns that a lot of the liberals are having right now, but they literally they're scared to death. They really think the world is ending. And we have to remember, like, everything that the media said about Trump, they're guilty of doing themselves. Or
Yeah.
the
And
Democrats.
it's a lie about Trump, and
Yeah, well, it's the typical classic narcissistic projection, accusing someone else exactly of what you're doing. So whenever they say, Trump is Hitler and we're
he's going
entering
to
this
take all your
era of
freedoms,
communist,
and
yeah.
he's going
So
to.
that's what they had planned, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to read something from our friend Steven Cephalo that he said so beautifully. I can't even summarize it without reading it, but he nailed it. What we're seeing happening right now. He said, I've been really spending some time thinking about why many friends of mine are so devastated and afraid. It puzzled me for a while, like, what do they think is going to happen? What are these bizarre meltdowns? Their fears seem so silly compared to the actual terrifying things we've been afraid of for the past 4 years. But I'll tell you exactly what. They have been building their entire lives around wokeness. It is their culture, philosophy, entire sense of purpose, and the lens that they see the world through. They fear losing the system that accommodates and caters to this way of life. They are very cozy in that world. They see it as a place where they belong, are taken seriously, and have some kind of pull. Suddenly, we are telling them, okay, this has gone too far. They are not wrong. That's exactly what is happening and must happen. It will be extremely uncomfortable for the young who have been heavily indoctrinated, and I feel for them. Nobody wants to hurt anyone. We just want to stop the descent into perfect madness. And that's exactly what was happening. Perfect madness. I mean, they were trying to turn the entire planet into Gotham City.
By design.
And,
Yeah.
and I mean like and I hate to be judgmental, but I'm going to, like, the people that they were putting, like their players, I mean, they look like mutants. I mean, they're like the most unhealthy, um, shapely
Yeah.
people. I mean, it's like they're
Entity
infested with
infested.
parasites, a
Yeah.
disease infested. And it's literally, it was a parasitic takeover of the entire planet is what they were trying to do. Um, but I guess you could say, Trump is like the parasite cleanse. And
Yeah.
I don't know, but I,
It's
I really, I really do think that, we have to hold space for these people because it's unfortunately people have already killed themselves. And I've been seeing it on Twitter. Some people have literally killed themselves because Kamala lost, and people are threatening to kill themselves, and a number of people are threatening to kill Trump now. And this is what happens when the mind control starts breaking down. People don't know themselves. They've never known themselves because they've been handed their beliefs, right? So
right.
it's really important that, like, we can hold the hands for, we don't have to hold their hand, but we have to understand what they're going through and not belittle them, you know?
Well, right. And this is why, just show them love. Like just like the best way to, because it's like, well, how do we get through it? Well, just show them love. Prove everything they think wrong by being the most loving, kind, generous, best person you can possibly be. That's what you do.
Trump
And
is the new ivermectin, somebody said.
and what you're gonna do, yeah, he is. And
Uh,
I would say the light forces that he is working with. It's not just all about Trump. We always talk about Trump because he's the spearhead, like public figure, but he is working with a massive light force, a team of light. The Alliance, the White Hats, whatever term you want to call them, that's what's going on here. And the dark is terrified of that because they know they're done if that goes through. And that's what this is
right,
a manifestation of this timeline we're on, where the light has already won. Now we're just seeing things play out, and this is a huge
right,
manifestation of that. But yeah, just here's what you're going to do by being the most loving, kind, best person you can possibly be, is you're going to shine a huge spotlight on the lies, on the blatant, insidious lies that have permeated our world, and especially the mainstream media, government, education system, go down the list, right? um it's all lies and propaganda that we're they try to program with us with 24/7 our entire lives, right? And this is a spiritual war as well. So there you got entities, you got black magic going on, rituals, it's all tied together, right?
yeah,
The negative ETs, reptilians, it's all tied together. And so there are powerful forces behind this, and that's why the mind control is so strong, and that's why these people, they just have such a strong grip, like it has such a strong grip on them, because they're a whole identity, who they think they are, which is not who they actually are, but that's the false ego has to cling to beliefs, and they think they are those beliefs, right? Or
right,
they think their whole self-worth and their whole everything hinges on those beliefs. And if that goes away, or something that they're told is so evil happens, their whole world just crumbles and shatters, and they can't handle it, and it's like a
right,
meltdown that happens. That's
right,
what we're seeing with these people. So just, you got to just show them love,
right,
but with boundaries, obviously, because there are many of them, unfortunately, get very vicious and very dark and very
right,
attacking. And I've been at the end of that with some of these people. I've experienced
I
it
mean,
firsthand.
we all have.
Um,
We all have, we've
right,
been
and
in
that's not to demonize it. I understand why it's happening. So it's like,
Right.
again, I just show them love and I put up the boundaries, and I'm like, okay, you gotta, because families, this is just like what we saw with COVID or with the last election. It tore families apart. Well, it's because you got somebody at a frequency here and a frequency here, and it's a mismatch, and it just like it's the frequencies are getting farther apart. And people are by free will. Everyone has a choice, and everyone's at a different place. And you know,
Right.
like your true family isn't blood. Your true family really is the people that love you and are have a soul connection with you.
Right.
And that's
Amen.
what is like, we're so like, yeah, your earth family is still your family, but just because it's your earth family or friends you've had for a long time doesn't mean you have to keep yourself subjected to abuse, to put it simply, or to very unloving people, in
Right.
situations because of those reasons. Like we are coming together with our tribe, with our true tribe, and then they're at where they're at, and they're gonna, be with the people that think like them, and we're gonna see how that plays out. But there is this kind of split I see happening of the Great Awakening and the Ascension, and then the people that are like digging their heels into the 3D even more, and the Matrix programs even
Yeah.
more, and the fear and everything else, right?
So yeah, and it's like they're doubling down on the
They're
Matrix.
doubling
But
down.
I want to give some other people a chance to chime in here. Does anyone, first of all, have anything to add to that they'd like to say before we move on? Jace?
That's why I think it'll be so interesting to see how these next 4 years play out, because you're right, there is that cognitive dissonance. And I think it's going to be increasingly more obvious to those with the cognitive dissonance that this movement stands for love, stands for the people, stands for health, stands for spirituality. And I think RFK, the other side kind of considers him a loon. Like even
Yeah.
my family, I was talking to them, they think he's just a loon. And I think that of all things could be the main catalyst for waking up the people that are deeply asleep, because if they realize, oh, he actually is trying to make us healthier again, and if
And
what
he's
he's
right.
talking about right now is
Everything he's saying is
what?
everything, and he's right about
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
They're not crazy conspiracy nonsense. It's all true.
Right.
And that's going to shed a light on all the other conspiracies that are true of like, wait a second, all this stuff we thought was crazy conspiracy nonsense is actually not all of it, but most of it, or a lot of it, is
So-
actually
And I
true.
think one of his plans is to.
I did an election probability pull out with cards, and
Mhm.
this sounds pretty hardcore, but I have to share. But it says, in the energy is going towards that what in our mind was separated will be unified under the eye of seeing the truth. Like we didn't know that these cases were all related. So people say, mind your thoughts. They may not be your own. You have to understand thought hygiene and mental hygiene is important, because there's foreign suggestions that you're being bombarded with 24/7. You don't know what's your thought, what's an
Right.
original thought, or what somebody's suggesting you should be, or what should be your belief system. And here's when the troops came. See, I'm a GI child. Like my dad was in the military. I can say basically, if it wasn't for Hitler, I wouldn't exist. The troops came to Germany. My dad met my mom. And what I learned from growing up in Germany is that when the Americans came, the Germans thought that these mass graves were a conspiracy theory. And what they did is they got these German citizens that were so in denial out of their homes in a day and brought them to the graves where all the bodies were piled up, and people still would debate that this is not true. Hitler never did anything like this. And they would shock the people, say, this is the evidence in front of you. And even with the evidence in front of people that don't want to believe, that was so duped and manipulated, they still wanted to debate that this is a setup. This is your war bodies, but these were actually from the Nazis. And there are pictures about this. Including, if you know about the Nuremberg trials, when the war criminals were actually trialed by the US occupation. And to this day, people don't know that Germany is still occupied by US forces to this day. That hasn't been dissolved. So there will be truths in your face, undeniably, no debate. This is what's happening. We have found this. I mean, I saw a documentary where they showed a shipping container with the kids from India, all in there, some dead, some partially alive, and they filmed it. And people still wanna say this is all a setup or a conspiracy theory when this is actually happening. It's in our face. It's being revealed. And now, as the light is shining, is basically source energy returns is like a reset. And in Egypt, when Ra meets Seth, that means Ra set, and reset means to, okay, this is what happened. This is the truth. Let's evaluate what has happened and move forward. And we shall not do the bad again. Make the better choice. Be the bigger and better person.
Right. And what happened the same day of the election? Yeah,
Yes.
amen to that. Yeah.
Yes.
And what happened the same day of the election? The guy who debunked Pizzagate got arrested for raping toddlers. I
Yeah.
mean, this is
mean-
like it's all, there's no hiding. Like everything's coming to the surface, even in your own personal lives. Like anything, any skeletons in your closet, forget about it. Like it's coming out. It doesn't matter who you are and what you think you're getting away with. It's coming to the surface. Lily, you've been kind of quiet over there for a minute. Did you want to add anything to this?
No, I'm chilling. Everybody's doing good. I'm liking
Well,
it.
Okay, I want to hear
Yeah.
what Lily's take is. I know she must have a dial to that. We are becoming more telepathic. So when somebody is full of crap, we will see this now. There's no more denying when somebody says something and you go in there, it gets you the creeps, but it usually there's something creepy about that. Either somebody have some mug around them or a gray aura or somebody says something to you and you're like, okay, this is like what's going on? Like, I'm not in resonance with this. So what's your take, Lily?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. It's been a huge lesson in discernment for everybody, and it's getting harder. Like the matrix is crumbling, and it's getting harder for these entities and energies to hide. And I had an experience whenever I went to Sedona recently. I've never experienced anything like this before. Where these two like men in black guys appeared, and I saw them kind of like astrally or whatever, but they were like in my room, and they were like trying to be human, trying to look human, but it was just so obvious. And they were trying to get me to come with them. They were like, "We want you to come meet the president." And then they were showing me like visions of Trump and stuff. And it just didn't feel right at all. And they also just didn't look right. Like they were trying really hard to be human, to look human. And I took, like, after I just said, "I do not consent and you have to leave. I do not consent. You have to leave." And then it was super weird. They like shrunk down, and then they went down this spiral staircase and went out through a portal. I know that sounds super weird. It is weird. I've never experienced anything like it before. They were trying really hard, I think, to get me to just do what they wanted me to do. But afterwards, I was like, what the hell was that? And also, like, they were trying to trick me, but it was so obvious. And what I got was, I heard in my head telepathically, it's getting much harder for them to hide. They cannot conceal themselves anymore. People are starting to see. And the matrix is crumbling. The illusion, we'll call it, the illusion is crumbling. So I agree with that. And yeah.
And well, that's kind of
Yes.
like when I was had my near death experience in Springfield, and I was able to remember it all and see what happened because they can't hide anymore, right? I was seeing the reptilian eyes. I had the bleed through, the memory wasn't fully wiped, and I know what happened to me when they took me, and I was told also afterwards that because it was a karmic thing, they had to show me. Like they can't even hide anymore karmically because
Mhm.
they have to tell you what they're doing. But right now, it's like time is up. So if they want to do something, if they really want to take you out that bad, there's no more covertly doing it. It's over. You're gonna see it. You're gonna know, and it's like they can't pull off the false flags anymore. It's like we know immediately, even before it happens, because people are on top of it, you know. And I definitely agree with like what you're saying about being able to like use your body as an antenna and detect the bullshit and stuff, and seeing who these people really are. And it's just becoming more and more apparent. Like you just simply can't get away with deception anymore moving forward. And
Yeah.
that's one of the main things we're seeing happening right now. And what it looks like is chaos and people melting down. I mean, it's literally, it's not going to be pretty. And I honestly, I expect a pushback Like things are eerily quiet right now ever since Trump won. And I was expecting civil unrest. There's a few protests, but it's eerily quiet. We're not out of it yet. I do see some pushback. I don't think they're going to just give up that easily. Okay, Lily, raising your hand.
Yeah, well, I got something earlier about I really do want to tune into like this is quiet, but over the last couple days, especially since the night of the election, I've been getting like massive just downloads and upgrades, like crazy. But the quiet thing, I felt there's a lot going on, and I had some black helicopters that flew over my house, and it felt positive, benevolent, like alliance and positive, military and that they were what did they say? I heard alliance, and they said, they're defeated, the negatives, and they're, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we're not seeing, essentially, is
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say. And there was something else I wanted to tell you. The draconian order has fallen. We're about to just watch it play out. And then I forget what else I was about to say. There was something else I was about to say about it being kind of quiet, and now I can't remember. Yeah,
Well,
sorry, I can't
if
remember.
it comes back, if it comes back to you, just jump in. But Jace, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I agree with you, Lily, and I feel like that the impression and the download that I've been getting is that the smoothness that we just experienced with the election, how seemingly smooth and how smooth it was, and he won that night and everything. What I was getting from my guides is that's a direct reflection of our prayer and our cohesion as a collective consciousness, and that even though we're all expecting, like it's like we have this trauma response. So it's I felt the same way. Funny enough, I'm just going to make a comparison. When I watched the TV show the Chosen for the first time, it was the first show that I watched where I didn't feel like they were going to stab me in the back emotionally after giving you a good feeling. You know how that's in like every media, like they give you a
Right.
good feeling and stab you in the gut. It's the trauma response, right?
Right.
So I feel like I feel like we're expecting that because we've been trained to expect that. And what I was getting is that, yeah, maybe and most likely there will be some response, but that if we continue to hold the cohesion, to hold the love field, and to hold the resonance and the prayer, the intention, that this could continue to go way smoother than we've ever expected it could ever go. Maybe it won't happen that way, but
I
I
feel
feel
that.
that. I
I
feel it's
just got
possible.
my heart just did a little thing, and I just got chills when you said that. Um,
And
I, that's
go ahead.
beautiful. Go ahead, Lily.
No, sorry, you go ahead if you're going to add on that.
No, if you remember what you were gonna say, go ahead.
I did. So this was just earlier after I heard the draconian order has fallen. We're just about to watch it play out. I saw them, and I saw the Draco in like negotiations, and I asked negotiating what, and they said how they will exit. So I feel there's like a lot of negotiations taking place on how exactly things are going to go down. But it's like basically, from what I feel, it's a done deal. But I agree with that 100%. Like we're so used to like this PTSD response that we expect something terrible to happen, and there probably will be, some pushback. But
Right.
yeah,
You know, it's
negotiate.
interesting.
The PTSD
Go ahead.
is a said program. Where is it coming from? Hollywood. You get the good feeling and the emotion, and then the girl dies, or the guy, or the lovers they can never meet. You know that the Hollywood plot's always like good feelings, and then somebody has to be sacrificed.
Right.
This
Right.
is,
You know what?
and that's how we've been programmed for years.
Yeah.
It's in us innately that, oh shit, it's too good to be true. Why are we even saying that metaphor? Why are we incanting that? Because we're programmed. So
Right.
I expect nothing but the best, and I trust in you all. And it's more now, trust your intuition, trust your feminine guide, trust your higher self. Oh yeah, and before I forget, I wanted to mention there was a movie called The Golden Compass.
Yeah.
And what the dark in their desperate attempt now is trying to do with all of this confusion and the gender wars and everything that's going on, and I'm not discriminating, but they're trying with everything they have that you lose the ID to who you are as a human being, Homo sapiens, so you are disconnected from your oversoul. And when that happens, you have your soul has problems reincarnating and ascending and transcending what you're trying to get out of. And in the movie The Golden Compass and the series His Dark Materials describes that perfectly, how the dark government, they call it the magisterium, bans magic, everything other dimensional, everything is forbidden. You can't traverse other worlds. which is your natural birthright. I guess that has happened to Earth. We just retelling ourselves the story that the gates have to be opened again. We were an interstellar species, and I'm saying this goes further back than Tartaria. You know, the Tartarian theory that we did not come from this planet. Very clear. I keep saying that. Our DNA is 9.6 billion years old, the human genome, and Earth is 4.2. We are not from this facility here. We are here to facilitate transcension and ascension in a big way, and we need to open ourselves up and look at these dark attempts trying to connect you from even identifying by soul who you are here on this planet. With all the news is doing right now is like, stay with you, what is the natural self and representation of you, and go back to that and trust your intuition now more than ever.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Amen. And
yes.
you know, about the movies, you know, that's what they do is they like Disney in particular, they destroy the family unit. In the movie, in every Disney movie, the family is torn apart. The father dies, the mother dies, something happens, but that's programmed into the children, you know, when they watch the Disney movies, so they expect it, right? And there's always a trauma response. So we're all fighting for the highest timeline, right? Always. That's why we're doing this. That's why we've been doing this for 5 years. You know, sometimes there's so many other things I'd rather be doing. I don't want to get on the computer and do this every day, but we do because I understand that's what I'm here to do. And we've been fighting for this. Now that the highest timeline is here, people don't want to believe it's true. They're like, "Oh, this can't be true." So I see people out there, big names, like creating a new enemy now. Like one of them, and I love Carrie Cassidy, but she's saying, "Oh, um, the Illuminati let Trump win because there's a bigger enemy now in China, and AI and China have teamed up, and now they're coming after." So
AI
they
and Trump, you mean? Or
AI
sorry,
and
China.
there's a
Yeah, yeah.
there's a yeah
The Illuminati, she's trying, because first she was saying Trump isn't going to win, Trump isn't going to win, and then he won, and then so she like backpedals like, oh well, that's because the Illuminati teamed up with Trump to fight a bigger enemy in China and AI or something like that.
right yeah. So and there's
Uh,
people that are like trying to create a new enemy now because it's programmed into us. Like, oh, it can't be this easy, right? And
or that the Illuminati is this all powerful, like that's what, you know, I notice a lot of people in the truther community have this program they cannot let go of, like the cabal, the dark, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, is like this all powerful entity that cannot be defeated. They have control of everything. And to one sense they have for a long time controlled everything on a surface level, not, but there's a much higher level, guy, you got to remember, they are at a very low level still, and there's a lot higher than them, ETs and non and extra dimensional, angelic, whatever you want to call it. And in my opinion, we are and can be connected to that, and it doesn't make any sense to me why we would come here to experience this doom and gloom, you know. So there's like the doom and gloom people, but then there's also the people that think like they just can't be defeated. And that, to me, Carrie seems to almost have that program where she can't let go of that. So the only explanation is that they teamed up and they're still in control and they're allowing it to happen. It's like, no, you're missing the
right,
point entirely.
right.
They're on their way out. They're done. This is the light winning. Like
But
they're
you know also why they're done is people miss that. Terence McKenna showed the timeline, the compression we had with his calendar and his system that he developed collapsing in 2012, which by measure it did. So the Mayan
yeah.
calendar wasn't off. That time compression of manipulation collapsed. Now let's go back to another thing. David Wilcock talked about this, and he said there was a thing that was called Project Looking Glass.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers the movie The Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise.
Yep.
Yep.
It kept losing and losing and losing because this reptilian AI kind of went into the future and reset time, so they knew where the humans would go. But since 2012 in Project Looking Glass, the elite can no longer use the Looking Glass because it's bright white light. They had a
Right.
low vibrational frequency. They can't predict what's happening. Why do you think they're gradually losing? They can't travel into the future and predict movements anymore. That's why how Trump and all of this wild card came in. They can't
Right.
predict that by cheating, basically. they were
Right.
cheating us for thousands of years with that project, and it's
Right.
over since 2012. That data compression in the
Mhm.
cosmic timeline does not allow the fallen ones or
Right.
fallen Elohims to look into that future to predict their maneuvers to win. And
What?
they knew
Right.
they're finite. They knew from the beginning, and this is the precipice. This is the design of their flaw coming down. They don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. They have
That's why
no
they
idea, so
scrambled.
they're desperate. This is like, the illusionist on stage is not a wizard. He's an illusionist because he uses what? Misdirections. And that's all the dark can do. Dark cannot manifest unless you fulfill their bidding. All they can do is suggest silly
Right.
ideas, and they lead to nothing, to a void. And that's past all religious books. Darkness has nothing for you but a void and a finite thing. And you are a sentient, infinite being with a sense of direction, purpose, and dignity. And when you remember that, the quicker the fall is going to take place. I just wanted to share that.
That was beautiful. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, and
Every
with
dude, you're on a fire, man. Everything
right.
you're saying is spot on.
It,
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
you're right. With the Looking Glass, after 2012, they couldn't see anything but what they called timeline one, which is the ascension
Mhm.
timeline, and that's whenever like it's been a gradual, um, a gradual,
Why
whatever I'm trying to
why do
say.
you think why do you think Trump happened after 2012? Because of that reason, because
Well,
Right.
that was prepared. I
can't-
mean, I
they
think this
can't
was
rig
all
it anymore.
prepared. Yeah, I think this was all prepared. I also think that Trump is an extraterrestrial that plays his human role very well. I'm
Yeah.
not so much into UFOs, but I spoke to people that I
Yeah.
think serious.
Dude, it's the
that-
biggest
I'm not
troll
a
ever.
fan, I
Like,
must say, I'm not a fan, but I believe in people that are credible. So, okay, you play that role, but I think the dude knows way more. He's very slick.
Oh yeah.
well,
Every
He gives
word,
hints
he's not
constantly.
stuttering, he's not hesitating. He's a very slick dude.
well,
Oh,
here's the thing.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like William Tompkins, may he rest in peace, but he's still with us.
Mm.
When
Yeah.
he came out and kind of shocked the world with his testimony, he said, like, matter of factly, being in the Navy and involved with the secret space programs, they knew who was who, and he said that all of our presidents were reptilian, like they're literally
Yeah.
like Obama, the Bushes, Obama, Clinton. He said, and then Carrie
Hillary.
Cassidy asked, she goes, "Is Trump a reptilian?" No. That's why they hate him, because he's not one of them. He's not their bloodline. For all these years, every president has been tied to the same bloodline. Now you have this wild card, like you say, and they never expected it, right? And it's at all costs they had to get him out. But
Yeah.
he is, I forgot where I was going with this now, but basically, what was I going to say? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
But I heard that Trump is Andromedan. Just a side note. I think
Yeah.
Debbie Solaris channeled that. So it's interesting her take of how he was prepared and in another star system. He had heavy training, so his soul could even comprehend to naturally respond to a system that he needs to change. A very interesting storyline there.
Yeah.
Did you guys already?
That's what I was gonna say. He said that he said, yeah, Trump isn't one of them, and he knows a hell of a lot more about this stuff than you would realize, in referring to the secret space program and extraterrestrials. And Carrie was like, "Oh, that's great to hear." Lily, were you gonna say something? I see you kind of.
Oh yeah, sorry if I was distracting you.
No.
Okay. Yeah, right before this I heard I kept hearing Melania's name, and then I heard Pleiadian emissary. So I just wanted to add that. And then I think it was yesterday, one of the messages I got was that the temporal wars are over. Timeline wars over. So I agree with what you guys were talking about before that as well. But
yeah, our friend Rion, not to interrupt you, Rion said something that also used to be proxy wars, meaning vessels being used by entities. That's back then when we spoke about Bashar, this God, what do you call it, Lily? Voice to God technology.
Voice to God.
Voice
Voice
of
to
God.
channels.
Voice of God or voice to skull.
Yeah. So they can basically, I mean, Rion had a vision once, if I share this correctly, where he saw there was a lady, a channeler, I don't know, not a famous one. She's like, "You want to talk to God?" And then he used his third vision, and he closed his eyes, and he saw like a cable, and he saw literally a dude sitting on a computer typing in what she has to say. So I'm like, okay, that shit's real.
whoa.
So they're like
There you
really
go.
typing in, and she would say what what was typed in another timeline, and there was an audience looking at how that channel would influence the people with what they're manipulating. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
What do you
Don't
guys
sleep.
what do you
Don't
guys think
sleep.
about what do you think about what Bashar said? My anti-Trump family sent me this video of Bashar or
Oh,
Daryl channeling Bashar talking about that if Trump won, we were going to go to the World War III timeline, and if Kamala won, we were going to have open contact. And I was like,
So Jayse,
wow.
when you were gone, we literally talked. That was
We-
the first thing we talked about.
we
in the
talked
show.
for
about
sure.
it for
We just
like
all talked about that for like 30
20
minutes.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was
And it
the
gave
one
me
sentence like summary?
creeps.
Like
One sentence
What?
summary. Go ahead, Arcturus Ra. Tell him. One
It,
sentence
it, it
summary.
gave I mean that gave me the creeps. A channel should
Yeah.
never dabble with politics. That's too human. That's too ego. That's too human personality based. A galactic one, especially even ultra terrestrial intelligence, would never ever interfere with that. And if I want to push an agenda of open contact that I promise you every couple of years because it's been ongoing, well, then I will pick a candidate that most likely won't win so I can push my agenda and you can fill the ranks and go see another show and on and on and on and on. You want to watch this another 30 years with promise of contact, or you want to see what the reality really is? And then again, this is subject to interpretation. I would never ever predict anything because you shoot yourself in the foot by saying this. I don't think right now we're going to be in World War III. I think we have been in World War III because it's an interdimensional war. It's a spiritual war of consciousness. So that doesn't make sense. All I can say is I cannot really interpret what he's saying there. But for me, I was like, when there's a melody and it's like, ah, all of a sudden it was like, I was like, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I'm not taking it in. To me, that segment was not Basharian. Wherever that came from, whatever that was, did not resonate with me. That's my honest from the heart opinion.
Right. So
Right.
that's one sentence for you, Jayse.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Okay, here's another
We,
question. Did
we
you guys
basically think either he's been compromised or maybe the whole time he was. And even though 95%, in my opinion, 95% or more of what he says is spot on and amazing. And I've followed him for a long time, off and on, not like super hardcore, but like every time I would tune in or see a video pop up and I listen, I'm like, yes, it's spot on. But
Right.
then what was it, like 2-3 years ago when he told everyone to get the jab?
Oh, I didn't even know that. He
That
said
was the first. Yeah. Oh yeah. He like said it was a good thing and everyone should get it. And that's when a lot of people obviously stopped following him or like, okay, Bashar is compromised. And
Yeah.
then he just told
so-
everyone that on top of that. So clearly there's something off going on.
I always
Right.
felt skeptical about him. Like you're saying, if there was stuff that, with any of these channels that are misinformation, they're going to mix in real stuff, positive stuff.
Well,
you know?
that's
Yeah.
a
Right.
psyop 101.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what were you gonna ask next, Jayse?
Did you guys talk about the Red Hat Hopi prophecy that you and I were talking about earlier, Tyler?
No,
Oh, that's a good one.
no. So, well, my dad, I'll tell my portion of the story, and Jayse found some separate information. So back in, I forgot what year it was, whenever we had Brad Getz on the show to talk about Project Looking Glass,
That was 2 years ago, I think, 2022.
my dad just bought this book at like Goodwill. I don't even know where he found it. It's called Bear Tribes Self-Reliance Book or something. It's a Native American book. And within the book, it literally talks about a Hopi prophecy. And I'll just read it really quick just because I won't play the video. Oops.
Oh, that might have been 3 years ago, actually.
I think it was 3 years ago.
It was
yeah.
3 years. It was 2021, actually. Yeah, you're right.
So it says, okay, let me pause that. It is known that our true white brother, when he comes, will be all powerful and he will wear a red cap. He will be large in population and blah, blah. But it was a prophecy saying that our white brother would come and wear a red cap. And this is it's the Bear Tribes Self-Reliance book. And it's just about Native American history and prophecy. But why? And this book, I don't even know when it was written. It's just so interesting why it, come in a red cap. And what did you see, Jayse?
So I saw a video from a guy named Jordan Crowder uploaded it on X, but it was a older video. It was black and white, but it was from, I guess, 1970 something. and it was a Hopi elder, and he was standing in front of like a chalkboard or a poster board with a map and some, you know, symbols and stuff on it. And he was talking about how the symbol that he was referencing, which was essentially a backward swastika, you know, he was talking about how this is an ancient symbol, blah, blah, blah. He was saying that one day people would, and this was, I guess it was recorded in 1970, but I almost feel like it was older. But he was saying that the descendants of these people who were the Nazis would basically, that they would break away and that the descendants would come back. And I could get some details wrong here, so forgive me. But what it sounded like is that there would be a mixing of the descendants of this group, this breakaway Nazi group, which could be the SSP, you know, type groups, and they would work with the man, this white brother of the red cap and the people of the red cloaks. They said that was the other thing, which makes me think of people wearing their Trump flags, you know, like a red
Yeah,
cloak.
this also talks about a red cloak, red cap or
Yeah.
red cloak. Yeah.
Yeah. So that made me think like people wearing their flags on their backs.
Right.
And they said that basically there would be a mass landing event that was a combination of the energies of these two groups, and that they would split the nation up into four groups, and that the first of these groups would basically be like essentially what we know as the cabal. It would be the people who have committed the crimes against humanity. And what the Hopi elder described was, he literally said like what he saw was them being beheaded in front of everybody to see, and that there would be what sounded to me like a military tribunal. And the whole thing about, you know, this Nazi breakaway group working with Trump made me feel like they're talking about Space Force way before Space Force ever happened. Because what, you know, I went to school for aerospace engineering, and I was watching these classified rocket launches, and I was watching SpaceX before Space Force take over the ULA, the United Launch Alliance, which is Lockheed and Boeing. And then Space Force came in and took over what the NRO was doing. So as you guys know, Space Force created all this oversight around all these breakaway, runaway programs, and a lot of these were Nazi based. So to me, it's like, okay, that's the merger of the two, and maybe they're describing this landing of the technology that they have. And then the people in the other groups were going to be like, there was going to be like an ethnic tribal leader chosen for the three other groups, and then they were going to purify the land, and specifically said the man with the red cap would be the great purifier of the land that would bring in the new age. So just like mind-blowing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, so if I finish reading this, that's what it says. It says he will bring with him the sacred stone tablets, which is interesting. Great will be his coming. None will be able to stand against him. All power in this world will be placed in his hand. He will come swiftly and in one day get control of this whole continent. Which is really, you know, interesting, because right now, like, it was kind of like an overnight thing. So
yeah. But specifically the part about the, like, I don't know, was that in the book referencing the Nazis and the breakaway group? Was that referenced there?
My dad only sent me a picture of this one page, so I've never even
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know.
Did you get a chance to watch the video I sent you yet?
No, I mean, we were getting ready to go live, so
Yeah. Well, yeah, check it out later, and maybe I'll post it in the Journey to Truth chat for other people to see too. But it was very fascinating, the correlations there.
Well,
So-
side note, what kind of blew me away, and again, I'm not pro or con, I'm just looking at the happenings, that Trump was on the Joe Rogan show, and
Yes.
what was kind of rough with him, you know, he was like, yo, dude, you know, you talk some shit, and like, you know, unfiltered, and Trump handled it, you know, when you see, when he saw the difference between him and all the other presidents were scripted, and that dude's just raw dog. He's like, yeah, he was just like fire, and he put him on a spot several times, and Trump handled it, and I think that got him a lot of people like, okay,
He's a real person.
yeah,
Like
you can touch me, you know, I'm here, you know, I bark, you know, I'm a dog, I'm, you know, son of German descent immigrants, and the word Trump, I'm German, so Trump means to triumph. You know, that's the word, Trump.
Yeah.
Which is so biblical within itself, right?
Which is, even his name is like prophetic. of what's
it's just there.
yeah.
So I'm like, okay,
Right.
look at what's happening here. Wow.
So I want to,
And Kamala wanted Joe to fly to her and limit the interview to an hour. And he's like, no, I'm not doing that.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the nerve to even
See
ask
how
him
all
to
the-
go
see the
I
setup,
know
you
the arrogance to even ask that.
Right.
Like he never does shows anywhere else. But
Yeah,
he said he
can't
thought
ask
about it.
Joe to do anything. Yo, if you want Joe, you better be ready.
Yeah. And limited it to an hour. Like, tell me you're
Shut up,
completely
man.
incompetent and
You know?
unconfident and inept without telling me.
Well, that's-
normally you do 3 hours. Can you just do an hour? Like,
That's now set the standard for every future election. Now everyone is gonna expect a politician's gonna have to go on
Yeah.
multiple
Yeah.
multi-hour long podcasts. That's how people are gonna vibe them out. And if people can't vibe with the candidate, they're not gonna vote for him.
Yeah,
Well,
and the debate stand's not going to do it. You have to be on a podcast or with an influencer,
mhm.
and where it's like, okay, unscripted, and you going in raw, and people can see that. And if you're authentic, that's where your people are. You know, that's
Right.
it.
And you had the entire machine propagandizing against Trump and pushing Kamala, all the mainstream media. You had the whole machine. I mean, how many billions of dollars spent, and then he literally is like, all right, well, I'm just going to go on a few podcasts and
right.
and go to actually talk to people and actually meet them where
And
they're
then
at.
that insane move. I don't even know if you're thinking campaign. Kamala talking about working for Mickey D's, and she
Yeah.
actually didn't. And then that dude,
Yeah.
Applies for a job, has himself filmed, hands
Yeah, and
out
then
burgers,
then
and people
that's
flip
amazing.
out. And they're like, we're gonna show her, and he's like, I worked 15 minutes more than Kamala would ever work for Mickey D's, and I'm like, yo, you just swiped them with that move,
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, like what else?
And then the garbage truck stunt when he got in the garbage truck.
I'm like, what is wrong with you people? I'm like, I was like,
Right.
it's getting really crazy, but that
He's
got
the
people.
best troll ever.
People were like, what the heck? He just blatantly
And all
did.
the comedians love him
Yeah.
because they know he's like a comedian at heart.
Yeah,
And behind the
he
scenes,
is.
he's mostly like even more funny.
Um,
Did you guys see the Andrew Schultz podcast, the Flagrant, Joe Rogan on Flagrant? I think that was the best of all the Trump interviews
No, I
because
didn't see that one.
they like jokingly, lovingly attacked him more than Rogan did in a way where it kind of disarmed Trump and brought out his like inner child a little bit, and they were giggling, and it was really funny. I recommend watching it.
I want
I'm gonna have
to
to check that out.
I want to cover something. So a lot of people have issue with people like Elon and some of these other people, JD Vance, because he was tied to Skull and Bones. A lot of these
Mhm.
people, they think just because they were once with that side,
Yeah.
that means
Or
they're
grew up in a
always with them.
family.
So
that
I
was
know,
it.
Lily, you got some information about how these people were, I don't know if they were presented with a choice to flip for and work for the light. Don't I remember a while back you had said something. Would you like to chime in on that?
Yeah, that was specifically Mark Zuckerberg with the him coming out, and they said, so that was kind of the specific person that was about. And then he came out, and then he kind of endorsed Trump, and then admitted in court that he was censoring people. So that's around the time whenever I got those messages. But yeah, they were saying that they were going to people and basically giving them a choice on what to do. And yeah, I want to add in, I think some of these, well, I know that some of these people have incarnated into dark bloodlines to help clear and transmute. And maybe their role has shifted. Maybe they were negative at the start, and maybe they've even been swapped out. That's an
Right.
option.
There's a whole number of things, and it could be multiple of
Possibilities,
those
yeah.
things. Right.
Yeah, but
Right.
what I've tuned in from with Elon is that he's positive. I feel like that's pretty obvious now. I mean, he's got the only platform for, free speech. I think that really greatly helped with the election and getting fair news and not censoring people. And then JD Vance, I don't know too much about him or his background. They just started showing me him over the last few days.
Right.
In
I
Lord
think-
of the Rings, Gandalf was gray.
Yeah.
Right.
He wasn't
Until he
all
became
he
the
wasn't
White.
all clear until he became Gandalf the White.
Yeah.
So that's all storyline there.
Just
Yeah,
just like Peanut the squirrel.
That's I was gonna say that meme is
Yeah.
so funny. I am Peanut the
Peanut.
White.
Well,
Did you see there
But
was a squirrel
avenged.
at Kamala concession speech running around? There was a
yeah, I
squirrel.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it was
It's
like
Peanut.
You're like, it's Peanut.
yeah, you can't make it up. Um, I do think though, um, like the book 334 Lies, we interviewed Samuel Chung on it, and it was written by
Mhm.
the highest degree of Freemason, like 41st degree Freemason, and he
Yeah.
broke away. And in his like a very disturbing book, but he talked about it's from the horse's mouth how these people work, and he called them wizards, and they had the ability to levitate, manifest things out of thin air. These are the people that are, calling the shots and running the world. And he said the only thing they fear most is all of us uniting, and out of his own mouth, everybody uniting and remembering who they are. And he said the only way, and he stressed the only way to take this down was from the inside. He goes, "There's these people it can't be done by us on the outside. The
It can't be an
inside,
outside.
you have to go in, become one of them, and take it down from the inside." So whenever
There
you
you
see
go.
Trump or anybody standing next to these people or shaking hands or even at parties or whatever, you never know what's going on. There's double, triple agent stuff happening. I mean, nothing is black and white. Nothing is what it seems. And we don't know the whole picture. We never believe the media at face value. So why are we just going to look at a picture and take it for face value? And I think that a lot of people have a major issue when they see somebody that used to be a Freemason or part of the Skull and Bone Society, or they were friends with Hillary Clinton or whatever the case may be. That doesn't mean anything actually, because
Right.
what if I used to be friends with somebody who I didn't know ended up was going to be like a complete or a pedophile or something, and there's a picture of me standing next to him. I'm like guilty by association. That's not fair. So,
Right. Or
That's
or
like
even if
there's
you used to be in that, that doesn't mean you are now. That's the past is
right.
the past. And
If
that doesn't
somebody had a
necessarily mean you still are.
Right. If somebody had a picture, some pictures of me from my party days, and they were like, they could totally dox me. I mean, like, oh, look what
Right.
Tyler used to do. I'm like, but yeah, but that's not me anymore.
Well, that's the whole political that we see politicians do that to each other, or they do that to they've done that to Trump. Like, oh, even if it's even true, like some woman, oh, 30 years ago, Trump sexually
Right.
assaulted me, and I'm just now, right before the election, coming out. How many
Right.
times did they do that, right?
Yeah,
Right.
like the
God,
Just
newest
now
sorry.
coming
thing.
out and
The
saying it.
newest thing going around is this Epstein quote clip. Have you guys heard that? Where Epstein is saying, and this was so weird because I only heard about this for the first time like 2 days ago, but apparently it just dropped for the first time like 3 or 4 days before the election. But it's a quote of Epstein shortly before he died, being interviewed by some guy, and he says, "Oh, I've been Donald's closest friend for 10 years." And now all the anti-Trump people are taking that as like
Yeah.
gospel, as
Yeah.
like some kind of definitive proof that Trump participated in something evil. When to me, it's like, how easy would it be for them to be like, hey, give me the dirt on Donald, but like make it up, like wink, wink, give me the dirt before
Right.
he dies.
Right.
And they even say in the interview, he literally says like, just give it to me, give me the scoop on Donald. And you can tell he's kind of like pressuring him to, or like insinuating he wants him to give him something dirty.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Yeah, if they
So,
can't find something, they'll make it up, or they'll take something you did 30 years ago and blow it
right.
out of proportion. Or they do all the games they can to try to get people to hate you if
and
you're a threat to the system. That's what people
Epstein
need.
saying that it's not,
Like,
it doesn't mean anything. Like it doesn't,
Or
there's,
well,
right.
there's a bigger
there's no
thing
crime.
going on here. That's what people need to realize, and that's what people are waking up to. That there is a machine, there's a system that is not. It is very anti-humanity. It does not like humanity. It would just wants to enslave you and use you and abuse you and feed off your energy and enslave you. And that is the machine that Trump is not a part. That machine does not attack itself. Like even if they do the fake, sides, you can still tell that it's fake. You can
Right.
tell when they're actually attacking somebody that's not a part of them. That's to me, it's obvious they were doing
Because
that
you
to
know how
Trump.
you can tell, because you can see their inner demon come out,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
show their true colors when they're
yeah.
attacking him, and they can't hide it. They get
They
so
can't hide it.
furious. Their eyes shift. You see the slits. You can see it. Their energy changes. Um, I want to, if
Exactly.
you guys don't mind, so our friend Alexia Eisenhower, she shared a voice note with me today. She's been working the polls or something in Maricopa County. She's been spending some time volunteering there or whatever she was doing. I don't know exactly, but she was like, I need to tell you what I saw and what I noticed. and she thinks that there was an entire hidden agenda. That the Democrats actually didn't want to win this election. They knew they couldn't win, so they had a hidden agenda. And she about abortion, and it sounds kind of surface level until you hear what she has to say. If you guys don't mind, if I play that audio clip, because
please do.
I think it's very telling. I need to share my screen and let me just share desktop one. Oh crap! I need to stop that share. Hang on.
I love your cat.
Thank you. This is Kylo.
Hi, Kylo.
I have to share the audio. I forgot.
He's Starseed.
Oh yeah,
Sound.
pretty sure our cat is too. Luna.
There. Okay, do you guys see just a big black screen right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna play this clip, and it's about 5 minutes, but it's totally worth it. It's what she witnessed while she was working the polls.
I wanted to let you know, I've been quiet for like 3 months because I've been electioneering in Maricopa County. I wanted to really quickly just here, no, I don't need to go live or anything, but like for you guys to know when you do go live, like what I saw here. And like, I have an idea of kind of what the Democrats did with the election cycle. So I don't think like Kamala Harris wanted to win president. I don't think she ever thought she could win president. I don't think she wanted to be president. I think there was a different agenda at play and like nobody's talking about it. So when I went electioneering and everything, you would have the people wearing red for Trump signs everywhere, and they were electioneering, giving out pamphlets like, hey, yes on these judges, yes on these propositions, no on these propositions, so on and so forth. Well, the 7 blue, purple swing states also tend to be some of the states that we notice have a lot of the human trafficking going on, especially the border states. So I'm in Arizona. So when I went electioneering, you see Trump pushing, better economy, better health benefits with, Maha and Kennedy, all the good stuff that we know that Trump is going to bring. That's what, they were talking about at the polling places. But the Kamala Harris people, they didn't have any Kamala Harris signs. They were wearing blue, but they just had Prop 139, which is the crazy abortion law. And they were lying to everyone what the abortion law was about. Basically, Prop 139, it allows you to kill the baby up till and after 9 months of birth and all this weird stuff. And they're not taking like abortion away from us in Arizona. Everyone who gets abortions, I even got one of the liberals to say this, everyone gets abortions before 15 weeks, not for like some moral reason, just, no one wants to get fat. Like if you don't want to have a baby, chances are you don't want to lose your body. Like chances are you don't want to get a pregnant stomach, which that starts to happen after the 15-week mark. So most people that we know and in the comments, they probably got it done in under 15 weeks. So like who's getting these abortions is like what the Democrats don't understand. And that's when I want to tell people, like, do you remember the movie Taken? And do you remember Liam Neeson, his kid was taken on a vacation or whatever, and then he finds her. How does he find her? He finds her drugged up in a coma. So what happens and how the human slave trade works is you'll be sold to the highest bidder for rape until you get pregnant. When you do finally have enough rapes, usually after a couple times, the person will be pregnant. Now, they're not taken out of the coma. They're still drugged up, but now they're gestating the pregnancy while unconscious. Those are the women who are getting these 40-week abortions, basically. So this all clicked to me when all of the blue states and like what we were seeing in our local area, I was like, oh my God, Harris is not running for president. Harris is just pushing for these like 7 to 10 states to have these crazy abortion laws, which were passed. They were put through. And I think if you put your head in a fucked up like California prosecutor headspace, then you're like, oh my God, they knew they would never beat Trump. They just wanted to try a Hail Mary to cover their ass when all of these baby dens are going to be like exposed, and it's all these women in pregnant women in comas basically. Those are the women who are getting these 9-month abortions for the human slave trade, for babies to eat or body parts to be sold on the black market, whatever the case is. So I am pretty sure the Democrats did actually pass their mission of what they wanted to do this entire election. And it wasn't to get Kamala Harris in the White House, it was to try to set up state rules to allow what they're about to be caught for to like go. They think that, okay, we found a baby den with all these pregnant mothers getting abortions, you're not going to be in trouble because Arizona said that it's okay that you do this. That's, I think, what is genuinely happening in these people's minds. And when you have like the abortion talk, I hate that men aren't allowed to have it because, like I said, it's half their sperm making up the baby. It's, you're killing these men's children too. That's not okay. But I just know that our audience and the people that listen to me, they are genuinely like, they grew up liberal. They think abortions are one thing, which is true. Most people under 15 weeks, if you've ever had one, if you've ever known a friend that had one, they probably did it in those 15 weeks. That's not what the abortion talk is actually about. It's trying to get like the bad guys off the hook, if that makes sense. I'm sorry this was long.
So
Makes perfect sense.
it makes perfect sense, and it's a great work on her part for connecting the dots there.
Well, some of
And
that I already knew, the whole 9 month and even after abortion. I mean, that's obvious to me that like, who is getting an abortion and that late, and why are you so adamant that that has to be? Well, it's obvious to me it's for the selling of the parts, the black market stuff, the like you said, eating the, go down the
Right.
list of horrific things.
and the aborted fetal cells in the vaccines.
Right. So, but it makes sense also that they knew Trump, like they knew Kamal had no chance, so they're just all in on just trying to get that to cover their asses when everything which is coming out for sure, justice is coming, it's already here. They're trying to cover their ass.
Right.
Everyone's in damage control mode right now.
The
basically.
silver lining in this message is that they know they're going to be caught.
Right.
That's the silver lining.
They know
And
they're done, so they're just trying a Hail Mary, like she said, to, oh no, look, it's legal, so we didn't do anything wrong. Like, maybe you won't send me to prison for the rest of my life.
Anyone else want to chime in on that, or change the subject? I know it was a little dark, but I just think no one knows about that. It's not, people aren't thinking about that, and I think she might be spot on. So it's back to the trafficking and the children, and which is the biggest issue right now. And honestly, like I feel it in my heart that it's the planet is going to be liberated, and I think that this is the inception of a new age, a golden age. I really do believe that, and from here on out, things are going to change. It might not be pretty all the way, but ultimately, like, this is the highest timeline. I think somehow or another, it's been solidified, and I think that's a lot, and it has to do with us too. Collectively, we've been fighting for this, and that 100th monkey effect turned into the millionth monkey effect, and here we are.
Well, you can also see that you see billionaires now basically handing money out. I mean, even Elon gives people like a task with an app to fill out like something to make some income, to generate income. I've seen viral videos where people in the poorer neighborhoods handing out silver in gold bullions. Have you seen that? Some going out and that's from here even to Africa with like stacks of dollars, going to poor neighborhoods and be like, here, they're handing out people that have overflow, and we should. If somebody's a billionaire and has money that he can't spend in a lifetime,
Right.
should be able to go into where people are needing, or projects like we have. People are being funded out of the blue, stuff showing up and people exploding, and this is also going to be released because the elites are taking the gatekeepers and the placeholders are also being taken out. I've seen what people don't even understand, and again, I'm not pro or con, but you see with the Diddy era, all of these people that controlled the music genre to a certain degree, like even in the hip hop industry, there's underground now coming forward where people like, I don't need a label. I can do my own. I don't depend on Spotify. I can have my own digital bill collecting system. I can blockchain my music, have everything going to me that I generate, because the power goes back to you. No more middleman that gives you some money. And see, I had a record deal with labels, and I got at the end I got 12%, and the rest of my masters all belonged to the labels. We were exploited, we abused. This was a slave trade business on a whole nother level that doesn't have to be anymore, because now we can educate ourselves, we can run our own promotional campaigns online, we have full control over our content. And now digitally, they can't steal that from. I see that I was a rap entertainer, and I reactivated my underground hip hop label, and I see now what a difference it is when you own all the rights, you control, you're not going to anybody, and everything comes back. And that has air for new talent to come in that doesn't have to follow the dollar sign carrot. You have to be a gangster rapper. I'm just giving you an example in order to sell records. If you have content and you're creative, this is your time and your responsibility to show people that independently we have space now, because as they say, the snakes have been defanged. They don't have
Right.
power
Yeah,
anymore.
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Beautifully said. Um, Anyone else want to add on to this conversation before we start wrapping this up? Any last words from anyone?
Mm,
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and kind of going off that, I think, looking at the past that we're coming out of, everything was centralized, right? Everything was centralized and very tightly controlled for the most part. I mean, think about it, before the internet, you you could only get your news from mainstream media mostly. That's it. You had TV, radio, magazines, newspapers. And the only ones widely distributed were the mainstream, the controlled ones. Music, before you had the whole like punk and indie kind of movement, everything was just pretty much mainstream. It was the big record labels.
Well, and that was the
Um,
whole Napster thing too. When
and the whole
Napster
Napster thing, yeah,
Yeah, and what that did
really
was
shines that
it
too.
it cut out all the small labels and it said, no,
Mhm.
if you want to make a CD or produce an
Yeah,
album, you have to do it with this company or this company.
and that was only possible because of the internet.
Right.
So the internet to me has been one of the biggest, and because here's the thing, the internet, I think, was made by the cabal. It was meant to be a tool for them to use. And however it worked out that it got to the public, maybe they were arrogant enough to think they could still keep it controlled. I think that's most likely the case. Their arrogance, they say evil's arrogance is their downfall, right? They think, oh, well, we got everything in the bag. We can just release the internet publicly and still control it and not worry about it. Well, guess what? We flipped the script on that, especially with social media, especially with, you got Joe Rogan and these podcasts that are not mainstream media, that are the new media, because people are now paying attention to that and watching that way more than their controlled platforms, propaganda platforms. And we've taken our power back. Like, this is humanity taking our power back, and we're not letting them control everything anymore. We're not letting them
Right.
control us. We're not letting everything be
Well said.
centralized anymore.
Well said.
That's what we're
It-
It's like
moving into.
we're cutting out the middlemen in all these different
Yeah.
areas, and the middlemen are the parasites that they've instilled. It's
Yes.
like all of these areas, the economy, everything should be like a healthy tourist field, and it's like they put all these parasites in the middle of that tourist field and siphoned all the energy away from the people. So
Yes.
like, yeah, with everything you're saying, they're cutting out the middlemen in the music industry, cutting it out in the financial industry with crypto.
with
I
financial,
think,
right?
yeah, and like government as well. I mean, elections and stuff, but Elon has been talking a lot about the need for a UBI, universal basic income, which to some people can be triggering or scary because we have certain contextual, understandings of what a UBI could mean. Most people think it's going to be a check from the government, right? And then we're going to be dependent upon them. But I think where this is going is, Elon's already creating the infrastructure that's going to take away jobs, but it's not taking them away. It's going to be freeing us from the enslavement of these 9 to 5. But then now we're going to need some kind of UBI. And I think rather than it being a check from the government, that it's going to come in the form of a crypto interest generation where, in the spirit of Nasara, Jasara, Trumpsara, whatever that ends up being, I think there will be some kind of financial redistribution, whether that's however, whatever form that takes, if that's stolen assets being, repurposed or whatever. But the way I keep seeing it in my mind is that if everyone gets some kind of initial chunk of change, up front, whether that's 100,000 or 1 million or whatever, and then say that you have that money on the blockchain and now you can generate 10, 20% interest on that forever. Well, now all of a sudden you've got enough money to just live, right? And now it comes down to you. Are you going to spend all that money and now have no income, or are you going to repurpose that, compound it, and let it grow and become like a multimillionaire? And that's where I see it really being turned over to the people, where it's not going to be like this top down, take our check and be subservient to us. It's going to be like, okay, this is for the people, take it, now do with it what you will. But now you're going to have the ability to keep generating money with that because of blockchain and crypto and things like that.
Right.
Ultimately, it takes people out of survival mode. And there is, like we talked about earlier, there's going to be trauma responses in that. People aren't going to know what to do. It's actually, we won't know what to do in a world that isn't governed by some cabal, right? It's
wait,
really,
I don't have to
really
work a
weird.
job I hate just to survive. Spend all my
People
time.
are so afraid of losing their jobs. They don't see that if you're
Right.
free from the job, you have all this time and energy to create divinely now.
Right.
You don't have to be enslaved to this system, but we're so trauma attached to it that
Well,
there's a lot
I
of fear.
remember when I worked, construction, we would work some crazy hours sometimes. And it dawned on me after I started going through my awakening, I would wake up to my alarm at the very last second. I would, speed brush my teeth and be out the door. I would roll into work at the last minute because we were starting at 5 a.m., whatever, super crazy. And then next thing you know, you're just like, you have to do the job and you're working until 3, 4 in the evening. Then you get home, you sit through traffic. You
That's
come
all your
home,
energy too.
right? I know, but let
the
me
day.
finish. Yeah, you come home, and if you have a family, you got kids to get off the bus, sports, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. You eat dinner. By the time you sit down, you haven't even had time to have a thought of your own all day.
Right.
And that repeats every day. And then by the time the weekend comes, I need a drink. And then you just mind numb yourself all weekend to prepare for the next week. That was my life, and
A lot of people's lives.
right. But that's exactly what we need to get away from. People, like, I know some people that love their jobs, but they don't understand, yeah, but you're still like in survival mode here. There's a way to do things. There's a way to live without having to be a slave, and I think we're like setting that example right now. When I quit my job and just kind of let the universe take the wheel, it's amazing at what living in abundance can look like and feel like. And you don't have to set an alarm anymore. I am still getting used to it, but I'm making way less money than I used to, barely getting by, but my happiness is up here. Like I have this freedom and I get to go on these trips that it doesn't even cost that much money to travel. People have it in their head that like it costs all of this money. I'm like, you don't realize like it's a very small amount of money. You could go on a trip and have the time of your life with the right people. It just, there's ways to live your life. And if you just trust in the universe, it will provide. And like this abundance can be like just overwhelming sometimes. And Lily, you look like you're getting excited over there. What's that about?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just holding some gold over here. No,
Pyrite.
Right.
Fool's gold. Pyrite.
giving everybody abundance. Shoo.
Nice.
Oh, wait, before you move on, I just seen Eric Hopewell Farms in the chat. So, I forgot to mention this earlier. So he has a sale going on right now, 15% off all of their products until November 11th. It's an amazing CBD. I know Lily is affiliated with them. Jayse, you guys used to be affiliated with them when you did your podcast. It's all grown. Their plants are grown with intention. They're sending them energy the entire time. It's all organic and they're lovely people. And I've used their products. Their topical ointment's amazing. Everything about them is just a green, it's a green light for me. And that you can get 15% off all their products with promo code LIGHTWINS until November 11th. That link is below in the description, so take care of that. And Lily, you might want to, you use the CBD. How do you like it?
Yeah. Actually, I started taking it a couple of years back, and for anxiety, really, after I had like a health scare, and I kind of had some anxiety after that. And it helps with meditation. It helps just kind of like harmonize your body. So I mostly use it every day, and I'll take it at night before bed, and that kind of helps me sleep too. Oh yeah, let's go, gold.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
It's
you go.
it's really good. And you know what I noticed too is I had poison ivy really bad one year, and I was
Ooh.
just looking for anything in my house to use. I had a topical ointment, and I just rubbed it on the poison ivy, and it stopped itching. It was like a miracle. I was like, oh my God, this needs to be like sold as a poison ivy relief. But it has so many uses. It's just really amazing. And Jace, you've used their products, right?
Yeah, it's like the best CBD that I've ever tried. It's really good quality. Highly recommend it.
And you smoke, right? So it's like coming like you can tell like the effects.
Yeah.
They're potent. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like full spectrum, I'm pretty sure. Like you can really
Yeah.
you can smell it, you can taste it. Like it's really quality stuff.
Right.
Mhm.
All right. There's your plug, Eric. We love you, and we'll see you. He will be a vendor at our conference again every year. And yeah, Lily, you have any last words for us?
Let me see. I would just say with everything going on right now, that what the Alliance told me the other day, the blind will soon see. That really stuck with me, because with a lot of the kind of division going on, and some people are still just very, very deeply programmed. I see a lot of that dissipating in the coming days, and of course a lot of disclosures. And I think just hold space and hold your light. And then also they were saying like frequency specific. Remember that you are creating and co-creating your reality with your perception. So doing your best to manage your thoughts and your energy, and focus on just being in a high vibe place and holding your light, and just kind of like let the wave, just ride the wave.
Right. And you said the blind will soon see. So interestingly enough, today there's a Q drop delta from November 7th, 2018 that says, and today's November 7th, just to, you know, connect the dots here. We are going to show you a new world. Those who are blind will soon see the light. A beautiful, brave new world lies ahead. We take this journey together, one step at a time. Where we go one, we go all. Q. And I know people think Q was a psyop, but I mean, they keep being proven over and over, and we can't deny it at this point that there
At this
was a
point.
real operation that took place. And I know some people, like, there was what I call the trust the plan bullies, the people that just wanted it to be false, you know, so bad.
We're making fun of everybody
Make,
and
yeah,
shitting
making
all
fun
over
of everybody who would, you know, talk about it. Um, it's, you know, if you really read the drops and you have an open mind, there was time travel involved. They even said it themselves. This is a temporal war. This is a time travel operation, and it's literally being proven in front of our eyes right now as we speak. So,
it.
I mean, I don't care what anybody thinks about me or it anymore. It's happening. We're here, and
Yeah.
the plan worked.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
Yeah,
proud of
the
us.
light-
I'm
right.
proud
the light
of
is
us.
won.
Feels like we
Light is
made
won.
it. Like we're on the other side, and it
Yeah.
feels like it's going to get better from here on out.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Right.
it is.
Yep, absolutely.
And oh, real quick, just one more data point. I was listening to Typical Skeptic podcast. Yes, this was yesterday. Drew Benke, I don't know if you guys know him. He was on. We need to get him on the show at some point. He was talking about his guides back in 2018. He's like, I rarely get a spoken word audible message. Normally it's like symbols or dreams or things like that. But he got a audible spoken word message from his guides that said, it said Trump will be the last president in the structure that you know it. Like in the current structure, he will be the last president. And this was in 2018 while he was in his first term. And he's like, oh, cool. So he assumed Trump would win the next term. And when he didn't, he was confused. He's like, wait, did the timeline change? Did I get a wrong message? Was that a deception? Some other entity, you know? all these things. And then when it came time for this election, when he saw Trump was running again, he goes, oh, now I know it's this time he's going to win, and this is going to be the last Trump term, and this is when things are going to really change. And what I was told 6 years ago, now it's happening, where the whole
Right.
system's going to change, and the system, it's going to be completely gone, and everything's going to be changed. And he said also he's told it's going to lead to open ET contact, free energy technology. All these hidden technologies are going to start coming out, and just the freedom of humanity.
Right.
And that's what do we see? Like, that's the timeline we're on. That's what's happening. We're seeing a huge manifestation of it. What just
Right.
happened?
Let's
I didn't.
go.
Let's
Yep.
go.
And what's interesting, I hated Trump at first. I just did.
2016, I did.
I didn't go through my awakening yet. And I despised him because I believed the TV, and I was dating a scientist at the time who was like completely like surface level, and she hated him. And I was like with her on it all.
Mhm.
And then I kept having these dreams that were so real. I mean, it was not even a dream. It was like I understand it now to be like a parallel reality, an alternate reality, where I was with Trump, and we were like comrades. We were friends, and he would like treat me with so much love, and we were best buds, and like I loved him. And I would wake up and I'm like, why am I having these dreams? I hate this guy. And I kept having them until like it was like changing me fundamentally. These dreams were like so real, I couldn't distinguish them from reality. And I think that was happening to show me like, no, this is something different. And we need you, like, we need you right now, and there was like an activation in a sense. And I know a lot of people that had dreams like that during around that time. So I just think it's interesting. Um, we've been going for 2 hours now, and I don't want to disrespect anyone's time. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But thank you guys for joining us. This has been absolutely a fantastic conversation. We have a lot of people here, 626 people right now watching.
Victory.
Yeah, this is
Victory.
a great time to be alive. And, there's no going back now. This is it. I feel like we did it. It's not over. Like we can't just lay down our weapons, but it's a bright future.
Yeah. But yeah.
And don't
All
sleep
right.
on crypto.
And don't, especially XRP. Yes.
Jayse,
Yeah.
where can people find you?
I think links are down below for some of my socials, but Instagram, Cosmic Origins, the 0 as the O, same thing on X, Twitter, and YouTube as well. And if you guys want crypto help, I run an academy where I can teach you how to do it. Tutorials, weekly coaching calls we do. We have a private group chat. Very high support. And I'm going to be doing a free Crypto 101 class in the next couple weeks. So if you want to sign up for the free class and just like get your feet wet, get your foot in the door and learn about it, you can find that in the bio of my Instagram, and just put in your email and I'll send it to you when the class is going to go live. So yeah.
Yeah, and Jayse has helped coach me through a number of things with crypto. He's an excellent source. And Ra, you want to hold your card up one more time? Show people.
It's Ra-Key. All I teach is about bioresonance. Again, I'm not a politician. I'm more about how to get your body in its natural resonance. And that unlocks many, many things in you as in vibratory state. I teach bioresonance. My lectures are all free on YouTube. And my store, again, Ra-Key.
Perfect.
That's how you find me.
And he will be a presenter at the conference, Rebels of Disclosure 2025. And we're going to have a blast. I cannot wait for this year.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be fun. And Lily, where can people find you?
They can find me through my YouTube, Lily Nova Starseed. I also just started posting on Rumble. My name on there is Lily Nova. And I share, recently I've been sharing a lot of Alliance updates. I do activations, meditations, help you unlock your abilities, help you make contact with your star family, all of that fun stuff. And clearings, I'm hearing clearings right now. So I do all sorts of different types of meditations and activations. And my website is lilynovacontact.com. I have tons of workshops, how to activate psychic abilities, all of that fun stuff on there.
And you have some retreats coming up that people can sign up for if there's any spots left. And yeah.
You can check it out.
Yeah. Well, Sedona's full. I do have one. I have 2 retreats coming up in Mount Shasta in July. I have not made the website for those yet. I'm probably gonna do that in the next month or so. Those sell out really quick and they're really fun. Vortex tours.
Great. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys all. We love you all. We can't do this without you. The support is overwhelming and you really are what's keeping us going. So let's do this. Like I said, it's a bright future. We're entering the golden age and we're here to change the world. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Peace. See you on the flip side.
Much love.